Randolph, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. How's everybody?
Awesome.
Doing good, doing good.
Excellent.
So I want to do a quick survey. How many Zooms have you all been in today?
Oh man, don't even start it. That's my whole life, right? Literally.
It's a curse and a blessing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just means you get a bunch of stuff done, but I tell you, everybody want to Zoom. And you're not going to believe it, but I have one after this.
Oh, my Lanta, no.
Oh yeah. Look, I've been
Yeah.
doing like at the same time, like I got 4 computers. I've been doing 4 Zooms at the same time. Yeah, technology. You can jump in all the meetings at the same time.
That's right. Yes, you can. I haven't done 4. I have done 2 at a time.
I didn't want to do 4, right? I'd rather do this one-on-one. But you know, sometimes you got to multitask.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what's the saying? The much is given, much is required. Right?
Hello?
Here we are. So let me just give Mr. Muhammad a quick call real quick.
Okay.
Close. All right. Okay, almost there.
And I made, I'm on my phone. I make it on my computer. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because I want to tell you about today with Renee in the city. Very well. We're all set. Everything's good now.
Okay. All right, good. Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
went down there. We're all set. Let me see here. Introductions first, so we all know who we are, who everybody is here, and then we can go ahead and just kind of talk about how we came to this point. Mr. Randolph, I'll let you start first.
So good. So my name is Michael Randolph. I'm with the Center for Nonprofit and Community Development. And we specialize in a couple of things, but one of the things we specialize in is working in the most violent, most crime-infested neighborhoods in the country. Well, if you got a CRA, you fit that description, because that's the definition of a CRA. So that's our specialty. We come in, and especially from a Black perspective, related to how does this work for the community as a whole. So we're currently in 10 different states. In terms of Florida, we're in like 12 different jurisdictions in which we work with nonprofits to get started and then to put together the 5-year plan. We focus on what's known as community comprehensive initiatives. The reason why we focus on community comprehensive initiative is that we look at all of those things that make a community sick all at once. We look at economic, social, and physical development. That means we look at crime, senior problem, youth problem, environment problem, all combined into one strategy called Community Comprehensive Initiative. And we've done that around the country. Now, this, for example, the first thing we come in, when we come into a neighborhood, which especially when they got a CRA, the first thing we say that CRA is only going to provide you probably 15% of the funding you're going to need. So you need to start to look on a national approach to bring in dollars specifically to that particular area. And I've done some preliminary research in terms of this. I looked at the, do you call it your master plan that I looked at?
You're talking about...
It's a PDF file on your site.
Okay,
there goes an objection.
Yeah, and so I opened it up to look at.
Okay, that's where you went to. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, you know I was going to do my homework. How can I not? Yeah, I do my homework.
That's what you do.
Definitely. I did have some problems with the document that I looked at related to, is it focused on the right demographics, and it's normally the low income communities in that particular area. One thing I saw that one of the survey's questions that I looked at, it say that when it came to, I think it was, what was it? I can't think of it, but I can't think of it. But anyway, it was an indicator that should have been high. It was like a low mark.
Okay.
I can't think of it. Maybe I can pull it up and y'all can see what I'm talking about. That's very important because if you're going for money, if those numbers are not high, you're not going to get the dollars you need because those numbers tell a real story about a poor community. And I can probably pull that up. But that is my specialty. I work and I only work in the African American community, and I only work in those communities where there is a high propensity towards violence and crime. Because normally what happens is the 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 normal old school approach is to go in and gentrify their community by moving everybody up. Our approach is no, we look at what are the shortcomings and begin to put together a strategy that uplift people by providing them with the skill set and training necessary to maintain in the community. And they can raise up when the community come up and they can afford to live in that community. Most strategies are not based on that. Most strategies are based on bricks and mortar. The quickest way to get them out, build up, gentrify, they have to move out. That has been the approach. And the very people that live in those poor communities all their life, guess what? Go back to that neighborhood and see where they at. They're not going to be that. So that's why we specialize in this particular area to make sure we got a playing field for those people that's been there all their life. And when you say something's coming good, normally it's not for them. So we change that by leveling the playing field that, yeah, you too can be part of that. We focus on those people who are low income, criminal records, substance abuse, mental health, all those particular characteristics that you tend to put to the side and you overlook them. Homelessness, we put a strategy together that deals with all of those critical components. So that's it in a nutshell. Shortly, I'll send you some information on what we do because I'm only starting about a small fraction of what we do related to the comprehensive side of the table.
Gotcha. So I know we're doing intros, but I do have a quick question. Well, we'll get to that later. So I'm Marilyn Turman. I am the communications director. So I'm the one who makes sure that everybody gets what they need, so we all know what's going on and we know where to be, when to be there, and yada, 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 and so on and so on. So that's me. Okay.
So what is your job title? What do you do professionally? What is your
Well, I've worked with the Tampa Bay Black Business Investment Corporation.
Good. I know them. Right. I know them. In fact, I had some couple of meetings with them because, I also do work in West Tampa and the Rovers Park. So we were trying to do some deals with them. So, yeah, I know them.
Yeah, with the catch program. Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Thanks. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Muhammad, you want to go next?
This is a reminder.
Yes, I'm Muhammad Abdul Rahim. I'm the low-paid planning director.
High paid. You're supposed to say high paid.
Yeah, high paid, Mr.
All of us are high paid. That's
right. Yeah.
Right at this particular moment, Michael, it's low paid for me. But anyways, my background is actually from the city standpoint. I actually worked for the city for 36 years, being a manager over stormwater.
Okay.
So that's mainly my background, but more importantly, my background for me has been a community activist for my residents here in North Greenwood area.
Excellent, because we need community advocates all over the place. People don't understand; they're not playing with us. We're not going to be here if we don't get out, plan, organize, and change the narrative.
Absolutely.
What did Michael Jackson say? They don't care about it.
That's right. They don't care about it.
I'm serious.
By 2045, they've already written this out of the entire neighborhood.
Now you understand. Now you understand why I only focus on communities of color. Because I know it's a national situation. So you're right.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm Gloria Campbell, and I am the no-paid executive director. So if he's low-paid, I am no-paid.
Oh, my God.
We're all volunteers. We're all here because of everything that you just said.
Yeah.
I actually am I'm an insurance agent. My office is actually located in South St. Pete.
Okay.
And I was involved in early on in the development of the Southside CRA.
Okay.
And so the reason that, but I actually live in North County. I live in Dunedin. But what I saw down there, I don't want to happen in
Yes.
GreenWood. It's
Yes.
just exactly what you said. There was no thought given.
I know that.
No thought given to keeping people, in place. There was no plan. There was no, and I would even have to say no desire.
It's by design. Trust me, it's by design. It's not by chance. Yeah.
Yeah, some of it I think it was ignorance on certain people's part, but a lot of people know exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking to someone today, and they were talking about how the poverty numbers have gone down in South St. Pete. But that's because everybody moved out that was poor.
See, now you get it. Now you get it.
Okay?
Yeah. See, that's how they try to play us.
Yeah. So I can tell you right now, we're already on the same page. We're already doing the same thing. We are focusing on making sure that people in our community understand that you can't. You don't need to move anywhere else. You need to try to make it work where we are.
Right.
And we have we've done some things, but certainly to have someone who has your expertise working with us is quite exciting.
Well, no, this is what I did. This is what I live for. Folks haven't found that purpose. I know my purpose.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My purpose is to change the narrative. As they said, go in the mud and bring the people out.
Yeah. And so that's what most of us are doing. That's why we put aside our time and our talents for the betterment of the community. I think someone said too much is given, much is required, and so we certainly all feel that way. We can definitely say we all feel that we have been purposed for this place and time. We have been granted favor, like you would not believe, with city officials.
I believe it.
All of those things, and county officials, and so we know that we are in the right place doing the right thing. But we also know that whatever we need is always provided. So the fact that you're here now means that there is a provision being made, and so we are here to listen, to see what it is we can do, how we can collaborate.
Excellent.
Now let me I want a couple of things I wanted to cover with you. First of all, what you saw on the website were our goals and objectives. That is not our comprehensive plan. The city has just hired a consultant, and they will start putting together the comprehensive plan for the CRA.
Okay.
We are not a designated CRA as of yet.
Right, you're in the process.
Yes.
This is the best time to get in at the beginning. Yes.
It is absolutely the best time.
Yeah, this is the best time.
Especially because the consultants will start next month doing the community outreach, and we begin to put together the plan. And so, so this is good timing. So
I actually want to be your private consultant, because no matter what that city come up with their consultant, it's still not going to reflect us.
Right.
So on your behalf, I'll act as your private consultant, and able to put together, in terms of putting together a real 5-year strategic plan that reflects how do we specifically get those who have the most problem in our community to raise them up. Because
actually, we want to see that done in this plan.
Yes.
This is one of 7 that were designated by the county for the express purpose of eliminating poverty. So all of those poverty indicators, all of those things that you see, money from the CRA can be used for that. It's not a traditional CRA using money for brick and mortar and those kinds of things.
Yeah, I looked at it. Right.
Yeah, so everything that we want to do, we should be able to do within the comprehensive plan.
Well, you
so
can.
We want it to be a
Definitely.
part of. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Now, let me do a quick question.
Okay.
I know you have filed for your 501c3 status.
Yes.
What did you put as your purpose when you clicked that box for 501c3? On the activity code, what did you click?
That's a good question, because I didn't do it. So, and I'm not
That's
sure
critical. That's very, very critical in terms of being able to do what you did.
And then, what should we click?
You should have clicked community economic development.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
You should have clicked community economic development.
Community
Economic development. It should be something. It
Oh,
should,
okay. All right. And I'll get the person who did it, and I'll see what box will check.
that is critical
I
because as
think,
you go for money.
what they checked was advocacy, but okay. So,
Yeah. Now you
okay.
definitely want to. We look at that once you get your status in the paperback, because in order to get money as a CDC, that's what type of organization you want to frame yourself around. Community
Okay.
development. There are special
Okay.
monies that come down for community development corporation that doesn't go to the federal government. It goes
Okay.
directly to the community itself. If you got
Okay,
that
got it.
designation when you first started as a 501c3. For example, under that economic development for CDCs, they got money in there for the shopping center.
Okay.
They got money in there if you want to do affordable housing. They got all that
Yep.
type of money that the CR can't go for. But it's a separate
Got it.
entity like yourself, you can go for.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Okay. So good. That's good to know. We will check that one out. Okay.
Yeah, that's the
All
first
right.
thing I asked the group, because I said if we're gonna go for money, you got to be designated, because you're gonna keep on going for money. You're gonna say, why don't we get this money?
Absolutely.
It's because
Yeah,
they're looking
yeah.
for that to be that designation as a because you're not just an advocate group. You are in fact you changing the infrastructure, doing community development, physical development, social development.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Gotcha.
Definitely.
Okay. Good.
So, Mr. Randolph, if that box was not checked, are we able to go back and revise that?
Yeah, you can. You can always go back once you get your
Okay.
status. I wouldn't suggest you do it now because it's in the mix.
Okay.
Once you get it, then you file to say, look, we want to change it to this category for
Okay.
economic and community development. Trust me, that's going to open you up for so much money.
Okay.
Not only from the feds, but from banks, corporations, investors, all those people that you want to bring in. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to be the CRA to save the community. It's going to be your
Right.
group with that
Right.
designation. Because like I said, the CRA can only give you about 10 to 15% of what you really need in order
Right.
to transform that
Exactly.
community. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Very good. Okay. Okay. So now, when you say you want to be a private consultant, tell us what that means and what that looks like.
Well, one of the first thing I want to do is come on pro bono first as we move forward.
Okay.
Because some of the things I want to do is do a neighborhood assessment and get that report back to y'all to show you the real deal as to what's going on. Now, what often happens is when you do something like the CRA is doing, they look at the zip code. But you can't tell the true picture unless you look at the census tract. You got to go all the way down to the census tract. Let me give you an example. You might have a fair, and the zip code might be a good zip code, looking good, but when you go to the census tract, you find that one little area in that community is where most of the violent crime and where the crime is. That's why you want to focus on the census tract when you make your argument that this is the worst of the worst in the census tract. I mean, in the zip code. So that's going to be very important. That's going to be key that we look at the census tract to see really what's going on. Now, I noticed that the African American population in the two zip codes that I looked at, I don't have those zip codes right here, but it's like it's less than 15%. Is that true?
That's probably right, Mr. Muhammad.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Oh yeah, it becomes even more important now that you arm yourself because of the percentage of African American versus white.
Yep.
Yeah. Those are one of the things that I picked up on.
It's in those two zip codes, but one of the things you said is that 15%, probably 90% is concentrated in one area.
See, that's the information I need. Now you see. That's the information I need to drill all the way down to the census tract. That's going to give me the true picture of what's going on with that neighborhood instead of looking at the zip code.
261.
What zip code is it? I mean, what census tract is it?
Census tract.
261.
Say, Mr. Muhammad?
Good. Now I got something to work with.
Planning person.
Yeah, 261 is what everybody uses because anytime they're trying to get money, that's why they use it.
Okay, and that's the census tract, right? 261?
Yep.
Good. Let me get it drilled down to that census tract, and then I can get a better perspective. Because what often happens is like the lady was saying this now, where so you got a small area where most of the crime is at. Guess what? They're gonna put very little money in that particular area, and they're gonna put all the money in the surrounding area. That's why, as an organization, you got to make an argument. Hold tight. No way. Let's sit at the table and talk about what we get for our particular area, because we one of the reasons why you got the CRA designation anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Mr. Randolph, I'm just curious. Tell me some of the things that you've already done with the city of Clearwater, because I know you and I have been corresponding. I just want to be clear, because I know a number of things that you've done. I've attended your workshop, your classes. They're all awesome.
Yeah, most of the work. I'm sorry.
No. I just want with the city of Clearwater, because I know that you've done something with their planning. I believe it was. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Right now, I'm part of that planning committee in Clearwater. That's meeting now for the CRA. So I've been part of those conversations. And what I noticed when I was at those meetings, guess what, folks? We not there. And I'm not in Clearwater. And I was at that meeting. Because they did this
Which
meeting.
meeting are you talking about so we know what you're talking about?
This was, what was this meeting? Hold on 1 second. This was, God, they invited me to, what was it, a strategic planning meeting? I forgot what meeting it was.
How long
right?
ago was it?
This was, and I need to go back because I got an email invite. I'll give y'all that.
Where we were on there,
Yeah.
and Miss Sarah Joyce Baker was the first one to speak. You all spoke. I couldn't speak because my audio, for some reason, wouldn't connect. But that was it. It was a part of the strategic plan.
Yes.
So that's probably the one you're talking about. So
exactly.
You see us on there because there were multiple meetings.
The meeting I was in is called Group 1. I didn't see any black. I saw one black that was not talking. All the white people was talking. And then I was throwing some ideas as to what they need to be, what they need to include in order to make it workable. Because everything they was describing were things that would definitely force us out the community as a people. So I said, there's nothing in there that protects the lowest of the income. I don't see anything, no strategies here that talk about that.
Michael, it kind of sounds like you're a part of that Clearwater strategic planning for their comprehensive.
That one, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the comprehensive plan. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's when they actually had groups.
Yeah.
For various areas. Okay.
Right. So what I'm saying, those meetings like that are the most important for the community because these people are making the decisions.
Yeah.
They are making the decision. That's why it's so critical. Now they're gonna be shooting me. Every time they have a meeting because I was one of the facilitators and talked about the fact the need to be inclusive. I talk about the fact you need to be transparent. I talk about the fact that you need to make sure you go down to the street level, engage people on the street level, not only businesses, and get a feel as to what are those obstacles. So it was in the plan. It was put in as one of the priorities because they weren't even thinking about that. But it becomes one of those priorities. And as they shoot me stuff, I definitely want to shoot it to y'all so y'all can make sure that you are in that particular conversation as to what works best for us. As a matter of fact, because I was part of that, a group, I forgot, did you see that video I did with the Clearwater, is it Business Association or something?
The Clearwater.
What is that called? I did a group and I posted on my page.
Let me just say this. You got, as you find in many places, you have a few people doing all work. We're trying to keep up with so much stuff. It's just.
But girlfriend, listen up. This particular group consists of all white people. When I went to that meeting, and this is separate from that meeting right there, they actually asked me. They said, "Look, we found you an expert in the CRA." I actually attended the meeting because I thought it was y'all. And then when I got to the meeting, I said, oh no, this is not that group right there. Because they was only concerned about moderate to high income. They was only concerned about that population, right?
Yeah. I'd be curious to know what meeting that was.
I got the email, right? I'll send it to you. I got the email, right? Trust me, I do my homework. Because you can't trust, I don't want to say it on because we record, but you can't trust some people, right?
Hold on. What I'm gonna do is pause the recording. Then I'm gonna ask the question, and then we'll go back and record.
Good.
More. Do you know any of the names of the people? Was it a Denise Sanderson, maybe, that was there?
I don't know, right? I really don't.
But
But
if you
apparently
there
was
the invite, that'll tell us who it was.
Yeah, apparently it was people in high office. What can I say? The elite. That's what they sound like. They were the elite. In fact, they was asking me. Look, they was asking me, how can we stop some groups that are protesting because we want to put this in the CIA and they don't want it? I said, you can't do it that way. I said, you got to be inclusive. You got to include those groups as well. I said, if you don't, it's gonna come back and bite you.
Okay, hold on.
Michael, where was the meeting?
Yeah.
Where was the meeting?
Everything online. I only do online meetings.
Oh, it was a Zoom?
All was virtual meetings, right? I've done maybe 3 virtual meetings in your area.
Okay. So again, like Ms. Gloria said, if you'll send that to us, that meeting, then we will know what meeting this is.
Yeah, definitely. Because you want to watch out these people that's meeting in those separate groups in your area. You know, because they know I do what I do, they got to come to me and ask me questions. That's when I find out who they are. And I would say, no, I'll give you 5% of what you need to know. I'll take the other 95% to my people. You feel me? I don't even play that, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's right. We got to get together. And I'm serious. I'm dedicated. I come out of one of the poorest communities in the nation, Baltimore. You know, the worst. And when I came up, I said, when I grow up, I don't want to be a banker. I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to come back and rebuild this neighborhood, you know, because it's not right. It's not right. Every year it seems like we lose. Our people getting paid, but we lose. They bring this program, they talk about what they're going to do for us, but we lose. They get high pay, and we're the same way. So I'm committed to now. That's nonsense.
Right. Well, one of the things we said very early on is that we're not going to have people coming in from the outside coming up. What needs to be done. Because we have lived in the community. We've been black all our lives.
There you go.
And we're going to be black all our lives. And so if we don't know by now what we need, then we either need to find out or we need to move on. But I think that's the other thing is that we cannot feel that other people are going to save us. We cannot believe that white is right.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Can you say that again, please? That's worth saying the second time.
Okay. We cannot believe that other people are going to come in and save us, and we can't believe that white is right.
Look, I ain't start no trouble, right? But you are so 100% on point. And that's what we have to understand as a people. We think somebody can come and save us.
Yeah.
They don't love us. What Michael Jackson say? They don't love us, and people don't understand that.
Yeah.
But when we mobilize and organize, we can change the narrative. We can.
Right. The thing about it is, how's that worked out for us so far? Other people coming in to save us. Okay, it hasn't. So if you want my definition of insanity, if you want the same results, do the same thing. So we are definitely trying to change the narrative.
Yeah, look, you use my words. I always tell people, look, the definition of insanity is doing the same old thing. That's why we say we're a new school, next generation approach to how do you transform community.
I love it.
Because the past never worked. If you ain't new school, next generation, because that generation before us, they didn't do too well for us, right? So we have to say a new school and next generation approach. We're smarter, we're bolder, you know, and we understand better. It's not like it used to be.
And we are not afraid.
That's right.
You know, that's the other thing is that, you know, I can tell you right now, the people on this call and in this coalition, we are not afraid to go up against anybody, any place, anytime. That we are not fearful. of government. We're not
Recording in
fearful of
progress.
government. We're not fearful of somebody taking anything from us, or we don't want anybody to give us anything.
That's right.
We will find it, fix it ourselves.
That's right. I definitely want to work with y'all in putting together a 5-year plan and some other things.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure I was with the right group because so many groups I was meeting with didn't look like us. So I'm looking for y'all. Yeah, really.
Oh yeah.
Because, y'all wasn't at the tables. I said, well, hold on. I know my girl be like, sending me emails and I'll be looking what's going on with a group. I said, well, hold on. I thought all you groups was this group. And then finally I cut up with sister. She said, no, this is who we are, and we're going to get a link to a Zoom. So I said, now I'm on the right track.
I do too.
I'd like to know now. Do you have any way of finding? I'm just curious who this is.
Yeah. Because we Marilyn a Zoom presentation that you did. It was like a little mini conference, I guess, because there were a lot of different speakers, and you were one, and there was the attorney, and several other people have reached out to us
right
from that workshop, and so we were excited when you reached out to us as well.
Well, yeah, definitely, because that's my specialty. And I tell you, it's not too many people in the country that has the specialty that I have when it comes to really going into the worst of the worst community and putting together a strategy that transports everybody. The drug addict, the dope boy, everybody.
That's what we want.
The person with the criminal record, everybody.
Absolutely.
Most strategy stops at that middle income. Everybody else below that, they're expendable. You see,
expendable.
Expendable, right?
We bottom and work our way up.
There you go.
Because the middle classes, they don't need much help, but we know where the majority of the people are in our community.
At the bottom. And they need to be lifted up and not moved out. Yeah.
Because that's the only way we as a community are going to move forward.
Definitely.
You can't continue to leave people behind and expect you're going to change things. And the thing is that in a lot of these programs, as we call them, they're looking for numbers and they're looking for results. And so they do just what they do in school. In order to get those results, they take out the low performing kids and they put in the high performing kids.
Yeah.
And so that's how you make numbers. So I know that game. I know how that works. And that is not this organization. That's not what we are about.
Excellent. Look, I commend each and every last one of you. Too many people always are talking about what the problem is. And they're looking at TV and they talk about what a shame. Very few people step up to the plate and commit to actually making change. Because, hey, folks, ain't nobody coming for us. And it's people like you. That's why I work so hard for people just like yourself, because the playing field is not fair for us. It's not. Most of the people that smile on our face and say they want to help us, they got an agenda. And it's not us. It's not us. So our training groups try to be sophisticated enough to ask the right questions. Not only to the politician, but to lenders, bankers, so that you take all the middleman off and you begin to have a conversation directly with the powers that be. They always sending the middleman, but you might not know the language, you know how these banks are. No, we're going to train you on how to talk to the bank so you can say, guess what? We don't need you. We're going to directly to the source, no middleman. Because that middleman is always going to have their own agenda.
Absolutely. That's right. You're absolutely right.
Definitely. So tell me about GreenWood.
Mr. Muhammad, I'm gonna let you.
Well, let's start in a snapshot.
Now notice you're gonna be talking to the world, right? They don't know who you are, so tell them about GreenWood.
Yeah, it's my elevator speech. Okay. The problems in GreenWood, actually I want to start with the positive in GreenWood because I never want to start with the negative.
And a little bit of the history.
That's why I want to start with the positive.
Okay.
The positive in GreenWood has been started from a segregation standpoint. And GreenWood itself was segregated off from Clearwater, and you're talking about as early as the 1930s. So it actually encompassed itself around a business component called GreenWood. And that business component is basically what made GreenWood a thriving, self-contained community for at least up to the 70, I want to say late 70s. At the late 70s, when the city of Clearwater started implementing what they call code enforcement, that's when they started coming down on this community where these little homes, these little shanties and whatnot, through using code. And they were doing that for a reason, because GreenWood in that census tract that we're talking about, 261, had the majority of African Americans that could have a power-based vote. And they expressed that power-based vote by inviting and actually electing the first African American to sit on city council in 1970, I want to say 6 or 7. And he became the first African American to ever sit on a city council inside Clearwater. Well, during that time, of course, that was too much power for African Americans to have in one concentrated area. So therefore, they decided to actually move out African Americans from this central location, like move them to Condon Gardens, move them up to Top on Spring, move them to Ridgecrest, and it actually divided the numbers. Once they started dividing the numbers, then when people actually looked at running for city council, and many of them did after even Kawhi, that's when they started depleting those numbers. African Americans started moving out because housing started giving vouchers for Section 8. They moved them out to various areas of Clearwater and dispersed an entire area and made that area became weak to drug infestation. That's reasoning why they did that. Because when they did that, Clearwater itself is so centrally located to the bluff, it's only about a minute drive to get to the water, which is actually Clearwater, the bluff. This area is that area. So what they did is basically had an influx of drugs come into the area. Of course, you need more policing when you do that. Now they have a substation to actually man an area that's only 1 mile. It's not even 1 mile. I'll say it's a quarter mile from the main police station. They needed to put a police station in this area to actually control, and what I would call, what the chief told me, it's not their responsibility to get rid of drugs. It was their responsibility to manage it.
Yeah, that's the truth. And that's what people don't understand.
That's exactly, and that's what told me that the gentrification was coming in.
Yes.
Because they needed the area, because Clearwater is high density area, and there's no more building of Clearwater.
Okay.
So now coming up from 1980s all the way up to this moment right here is Clearwater is this area, North GreenWood, is on the market for profit.
Oh yeah. So
that kind of sums it up of why we are in this, because we're here to save the property and also save the people that comes along with the property.
But why? Make it an emotional appeal. People are looking at you now. So why are you in it?
The emotional appeal is me. I haven't left this area since I built this house.
Okay.
Or bought this house.
Okay.
We're talking about in 1989, I've been in this one house around my residence because this is an African American community. And the very basis of the African American community is because I know my neighbor.
Good.
Yeah. If I would move out into countryside, I would be in a big house that is a plot, but I wouldn't know the neighbor. I wouldn't have no connection with them. I have connection with my neighbor here. I was brought up in this neighborhood. That's my emotional appeal of being able to save my neighborhood right here because I'm safe, I'm comfortable.
That's what I want to hear.
I'm around people that love me because I love them.
And that's the thing that people don't hear. Yes. Yeah, definitely. How about someone else jump in? Why are you doing this? Y'all could probably be on vacation somewhere, you know? You already booked. I mean, with your jobs, why keep you doing everything that you do? Somebody else jump in, and for the people that are watching this, especially if you're an investor, if you are a lender, if you're a government official, if your community is looking at how do you solve your community, watch this script right here because they're going to show what empowerment is all about. But somebody else, tell me why.
Well, for me, I didn't grow up in the community, but I grew up in a community like North Greenwood. As I said, I had an opportunity to see what happens when we don't take control of our own communities, when we leave it to government and other people. I see people who end up basically homeless, or people who end up selling their property for $50,000, $60,000, thinking they're going to go somewhere else and buy that property, and somebody takes it and they flip it, and now it's $300,000, and you can't even afford to live in your own community. But the biggest thing is when we do that, we lose. When we get people out of the community, we lose that sense of community. We lose that holds us together. There are some people that are going to make it no matter what. We know that 10% of the people who come out of Greenwood, they're going to be successful no matter what. They got, whether they have, they've got the intellect, they've got people behind them, they got the mentors, they're going to be successful. The group that I want to save is, I want to save that group that nobody thinks can be successful. I want to take that bottom 10, 15, and 20%. Those are our kids. Those are our grandkids. Those are our future. And nobody, until we can save, until we can make this community whole, and we can bring everybody along, we've not done our job. We have absolutely not done our job. There is no success unless everybody is successful. And so I absolutely am doing this, first because Marilyn convinced me to, but second because I absolutely believe that there is a skill set. I've been in this arena for 20 plus years, dealing with disadvantaged communities, individuals, and I know how just giving people hope changes people's lives. And so what I believe that the thing, if you want to destroy a community, take away hope, take away promise, take away opportunity. And that's what we've seen. And that's what people have been very good at doing for us. We want to do the opposite. We want to bring back opportunity, hope, encouragement, because we know that if we do that, we're going to be able to bring everybody along with us, not just a few people.
Excellent.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad and Miss Gloria. Thank you. I'm going to piggyback on something Miss Gloria just said when she talked about the word hope. There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about faith is the substance of things hoped for. Without hope, faith has nothing to operate off of, right? So you got to be able to have some hope. When people give up hope, then what you see is people say, why care? Mm-hmm. Why do I care? Let me just do things to suppress the trauma of what I have to endure. I've always been the kind of person when people say, I think this is the way God has wired me. When I see things that I know are not right, as you talked about, Mr. Randolph, coming into this, when you realize what your calling was. I knew my calling too when I felt uncomfortable about the things that I saw that were not right. Mm-hmm. I'm not a person who's superficial. Money don't make me, I make money, right? I'm not for sale. I don't care about titles. I love my people. I don't judge my people because I recognize it's not about what's wrong with you. It's what happened to you. And when you understand trauma and how when you are a person of color, you are born into this world in trauma, right? Mm-hmm. And so the things that we got to deal with every day when we walk out and we face the world, the things that we have to endure, yeah. And the fact that some of us can come out of it in spite of what we've gone through and be fortified in a way that we can be here to help be a voice for those who don't feel like they have one. When people say to me, when they talk about, you talked about earlier, what the problems are, And when they say, "Oh, this is this and this is that," and somebody's got to do something about this, and I always say, "You are the somebody," right? And so it means that, and the saying that they hear me say often is that if we're not at the table, we're always going to be on the menu, right?
Hello.
So we got to be at the table.
Yeah.
We got to be at these meetings. So I am so honored to work with not only first and foremost these two people right here, and what we realized that God brought us together for such a time to do what we're doing, right? Absolutely. And it's not because we're so smart, we're so this or so connected. It's because this is the assignment that God has given us right now, and we all bring something to this coalition. And we have other people. It's not just us three, but we do lead this effort, and God has ordained it to be that way. And so we are honored to be able to serve. It is about service.
All right.
And then I just have one more thing. Miss Lord, please, if you all can give me just a couple minutes here. I really have to show you this. And I hope you all don't mind, but I want to, or maybe I'll
Can I say this real quick before you do that?
Yeah.
So, if you're watching this video here, as you can see, compassion. These people are in it to win it. They're what we call change agent. They don't talk the talk, but they actually walk the walk. You heard that compassion. This is real. So, my next question is, where can people send money to? Do you have email they can send you to donate? Anything? How can they send you money? Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. How you get money. So I think that this whole presentation was to give you an introduction to the country as a whole. So the people understand that there's a place in Clearwater with a group of people that are fighting against all of the odds. But because they have that passion of home, they refuse to give up.
Campbell, under the podium. Ms. Campbell is the Executive Director of the Stillwater Leadership Coalition. She will explain what the coalition hopes to achieve under the framework of that PRA plan. Thank you.
There's Bill.
Yeah, Marilyn, you got to share a screen?
Oh, yeah, it is sharing screen.
Okay,
Yeah.
now I come across. It came across.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Hubert, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners. I would like to begin by thanking City Manager Bill Horn for his leadership and his staff for all of their support. In particular, I want to thank Chuck Lane, thanks to me, Dina Clayton, and Robert Napper for their efforts as we completed the steps necessary to get to this point. I promise I won't take much of your time, probably not as long as it took for Chuck to get the slides up. But I did want to talk about who we are, how we got here, and where we're going. Who are we? We are a self-governing group of 40 individuals, organizations, businesses, churches, and interested citizens in the North GreenWood area. Our mission is to create a thriving community in that area by 2030. I think it's important to acknowledge a proverb that says, we plant a tree today, not so we can have shade, but that it can provide shade for our grandchildren. Marilyn Sherman, Jay Henson, and myself were involved in the community outreach for the Southside CRE in St. Petersburg. Together with Nazra Matthews and Mohammed Abdul Rahim, we wanted to see that same energy and revival take place in the North GreenWood community. Led by Ms. Sherman, we brought about a group of like-minded individuals in our community a year ago, and our journey began. How did we get here? Chuck talked a little bit about the 2013 Pinellas County Commission's Impact of Poverty Study that identified 5 high poverty areas that cost the county $2 billion, that's billion with a B, dollars each year in investment. Even this massive investment, there was no significant change in those areas. The 5 areas are the South St. Petersburg area, Clearwater, Leland, High Point, and Tarpon Springs. Of the 5 areas, it should be noted that Clearwater has the highest concentration of poverty. What the county and our community recognize is that you cannot impact poverty from the outside, but true change comes from the inside.
Go on, Ms.
It comes by involving individuals in the process and by recognizing that we are the ones that can bring about the change. As we work together to build a model of sustainability and positive outcomes, we believe in that proverb in the Bible that says, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for one day. If you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Community Urban Leadership Coalition is about teaching our community to fish. How do we plan to do that? First, by involving our community to the young men on the corner, from the seasoned business person to the young entrepreneur. We have identified key areas that we know can help impact our citizens, and that's the slide that you see, targeted areas. We came together, we dialogued, we reasoned, and here are the things that we know that impact key people in poverty. In our area, it's affordable housing. What does that look like? Business development, economic development, mental health. I'm convinced that a lot of the issues that we have with mental health and wellness, especially in our community, come from the stress of not having affordable housing, from not having all of the necessities that you need to take care of your family. Child care, reducing recidivism and reentry, financial literacy, because I, for one, know it doesn't matter how much money you have, if you don't manage it well, you'll end up in the same situation. So primarily, these are areas that we targeted. Those areas were targeted because we have work groups in each one of those areas. But we didn't just do this by what we thought, by actually surveying the community, by dialoguing with the community and having them bring their ideas and their requests to the table. It is said that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. We know that it's true in our situation. The student, the community is ready. And the Clearwater Urban Leadership Coalition is the teacher that has appeared. The teacher is pulling in talent and resources for our community to bring about systemic change. We see the creation of the North GreenWood CRA as a tool and a resource to help us move this change over the next 10 years. Our voice is our future. As I conclude, tonight we come asking you to unanimously approve Resolution 20-52. Before this will give us the first step in creating the North GreenWood CRA. I want to personally acknowledge the hard work and dedication of the members of the coalition. Each of who are here today should be applauded. Thank you. We thank all of you for your time and effort. We thank the city staff and the city commissioners for the willingness to take this bold step. And in the words of one of my favorite philosophers,